Hello everyone, I Professor Bhavik Kumar M. Kataria welcomes you into the video series of Information and Network Security. We are discussing unit number 7, Digital Signature. So till today we have discussed basics about the digital signature, properties and requirements of digital signature. So these topics are covered. So remaining topics are security, digital signature schemes and NIST digital signature algorithm. So out of this topic, today we will discuss the digital signature schemes. Get it? There are total 2 digital signature schemes. One is LGAML and second one is Schnorr algorithm. So today we will discuss out of these two LGAML scheme. If we will look about the discussion up to till today, so in our first session of digital signature, what we have discussed, that is the need of digital signature, why digital signature is required. So as per our earlier discussion, suppose there is a two-party, Bhavik and Dhruvi. Bhavik is working as a sender here and Dhruvi is working as a receiver. So what's happened? Actually, due to the some issues regarding to the commitment, like sender can run far away from their commitment. So same thing, some of the issues are integrity, non-repudiation. Get it? So we are using the digital signature for this purpose. So whenever we are using the digital signature, so we are getting the authentication, non-repudiation and message integrity. Message integrity we are achieving by using the digital signature standard. And what are the limitations? So we are not able to receive the confidentiality by using the digital signature and message integrity. So message integrity is actually available in digital signature standard. Get it? So finally we can say that confidentiality is not able to we are not able to achieve the confidentiality in digital signature. Now if we will look about the structure of digital signature, so what we have discussed till today. So first case was the generic model of digital signature. Get it? In case of generic model, whatever the message was there, so Bhavik Bhavik will use the private key while generating the digital signature. Get it? And same thing, whenever receiver party like Dhruvi is receiving the message, so Dhruvi will use the public key which is generated by the Bhavik. Now, so by using the digital signature algorithm, we are putting the signature on actual message. That is our signature on message. So whenever entire thing is going to be transmitted, so it is in two parts. One is first one is actual message, and second one is signature. Get it? So whenever receiver party will receive, so same thing, receiver party like Dhruvi will use the public key which will be made public by the Bhavik, and Dhruvi will compare the signature. Get it? If result is equal, then signature is valid. If result are different, then signature is not valid. Get it? But in that case, Dhruvi will able to achieve authentication and non-repudiation by using simple digital signature, while using the digital signature standard. Get it? So Dhruvi will be able to achieve message integrity. And suppose Dhruvi will use the hash function and encryption and decryption techniques also. So we can achieve the confidentiality, but we have to use the remaining algorithms for achieving the confidentiality. So we cannot receive the confidentiality by using the simple digital signature. So that's why here we have used the cryptographic hash function. It is our cryptographic hash function H, and then after we use the encryption. So we have used two things. One is cryptographic hash function and second one is encryption techniques. Get it? And Bhavik, same as look like a simple digital signature will generate a private key and put the digital signature on message. Again, message will be forwarded towards the receiver party like Dhruvi, and same thing Dhruvi will use the public key which was made public by the Bhavik and decrypt the message. Same thing, cryptographic hash functions will be applied and decryption will apply. So Dhruvi will receive the H dash. Get it? So whenever Dhruvi will compare H and H dash, so suppose H and H dash are same, both these things. So signature is valid, otherwise signature is not valid. If signature is valid, so Dhruvi will be able to achieve the integrity and confidentiality. Get it? We have used two approach. One was digital signature standard and another one is RSA. Get it? So in first case, by using the digital signature standards, we are receiving the integrity, that is the digital signatures technique, but our limitation of digital signature was we are not able to achieve the confidentiality. So if we want to achieve the confidentiality, then we can use the RSA approach. Get it? So by using the RSA algorithm, we can we can achieve the confidentiality. We have also discussed unit number 5 and unit number 6 before today. So in terms of unit number 5, we have discussed cryptographic hash function, applications of cryptographic hash functions, simple hash functions, requirements of simple hash function based on cipher block chaining and secure hash algorithm SHA. So these are the number of different topics we have already discussed in our unit number 5, lecture number 1 and 2. Get it? That was our earlier video session. And in terms of unit number 6, that is our video session 3, we have discussed the number of topics regarding to the message authentication code. In this case, we have discussed about the basics of message authentication code requirements, MSC security, MSC based hash function, and MSC is based on block cipher. Get it? And our fourth video session was on digital signature. So guys, if you are still remain to watch our this session of digital signature, so you can click on I button at top right corner and you can watch our earlier video, so you will be able to understand better. Today's topic is LGML scheme. So let's start LGML scheme. First, what is the need of LGML scheme? So if we will look about the LGML scheme, so it is one crypto system, get it? And is used to provide some form in a number of standards, including the DSS. So whatever we are using digital signature standards. So in that case, LGML scheme is useful, as well as second use of LGML scheme is into the MIME protocol. If you learn the computer network and there was a topic email, it means electronic mail. So at that time we have discussed various kinds of protocols like SMTP. Get it? SMTP was stand for the simple mail transfer protocol. Get it? Then after SMTP was used for the pushing purpose. It means used for the sending side. Then also used in between the channel from sender to receiver. Get it? But whenever receiver is downloading the message, whenever receiver want to download the message, so at that time there is two more protocol are POP3 and IMAP4. POP3 was for the Post Office Protocol version 3, and IMAP4 was for the Internet Mail Extension Protocol version 4. So POP third version is used to download the email, and IMAP fourth version is used to download the email. And another protocol was MIME, Multi-Purpose Internet Mail Extension Protocol. So in that case, we can also use the LGML scheme. Get it? So that is the two main use of LGML scheme. Okay. So you are able to understand why we are learning the LGML scheme. Now, next thing, there is a properties of LGML scheme. So how we are going to use this LGML scheme? What are the properties or functions of LGML scheme? So let's see, in that case, we are using two keys, private key and public key. Get it? So private key we are using for the signing purpose. It means sender is using the private key for putting the signature. And another thing, public key. Public key is used at a receiver's end for the verification. Signature is valid or not. Let's see in our previous figure. Look like there is a simple digital signature algorithm. So here, if you will look in this both figures, so sender is using the private key while putting the signature. Same here, sender is using the private key to put the signature, and whenever receiver is verifying the signature, so receiver using the public key to verify the signature. Signature is valid or not. Get it? So that is the use of public key and private key in terms of sending side and receiver side. Get it? Now another thing, that is we will use the prime numbers Q. Get it? So that is the again special logic behind why we are using the prime number. So if we will use the not prime number, so we will get more higher digits in our calculation. Get it? So that's why to keep the lower digits in calculations, here we are using the prime numbers, and again we will use the smaller prime numbers. We will not choose the higher prime numbers. Get it? Another thing we will use, that is A. A is a primitive root of Q. Get it? We are using two numbers, one is Q and another one is A. Q is a prime number. Q is a prime number and A is a primitive root of Q. So after selecting the Q, we will make a primitive root of Q, and we will consider that a particular value as A. We will also generate the public key and private key by using these equations, like whatever the private key sender is generating. So private key is 1 less than XA less than Q minus 1. So XA is a private key, and XA is less than equal to less than 1. XA is less than 1. XA is greater than 1 and less than Q minus 1. So value of XA is in between the 1 and Q minus 1. Now if we will look about how to generate a public key. So here YA is a public key. So YA is equal to A raised to XA module Q. Get it? Here we have already discussed, we are using A is a square root of Q and Q is a prime number. So here you can understand where from A is arrived, and XA is our private key, and we will divide it with the module of Q. We have taken the prime numbers. So like this we can generate the private key and public key. Get it? So now see in next how LGML scheme is working. So as per our earlier discussion, there is two parties. Sending side, there is a Bhavik is a sender and receiver party is a Dhruvi. Get it? So Bhavik signing the message to Dhruvi by computing hash value, hash m. M is a h of m, and value of h of m is equal to 0, less than equal to m, less than equal to q minus 1. Q we have already discussed. Q is a prime number. Get it? So we have to choose the value of m which is greater than equal to 0 and less than equal to q minus 1. Value of m will be greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to q minus 1. So you can easily choose from the greater than 0, and for the q, for taking the value of q, we have to choose the prime number. So whatever the prime number we will select, so again we will subtract minus 1 from that particular prime number. Then after another thing, there is one more thing, we have to choose the random integer k. This value we have to choose. Get it? We are choosing this value. Get it? So don't think from where these values are arriving. So we are choosing the value of m in between 0 and q minus 1. Same we are choosing the value of k. But there is a particular condition how to choose the value of m and how to choose the value of k. So these are the conditions I am going to explain to you whenever you are choosing the value of m and k. So k is again we have to choose 1 less than equal to k less than equal to q minus 1. It means k will be greater than equal to 1 and less than equal to q minus 1. By choosing the value of k, you have to consider the second condition also. There is two conditions. One is k require greater than equal to 1 and less than equal to q minus 1, as well as GCD of k into GCD of k and q minus 1 is equal to 1. So this condition is important whenever you are choosing the value of k. So you have to calculate GCD of k and q minus 1, and it will require the answer is 1. Then and then you can select the value of k. So that is the conditions you have to keep in your mind whenever you are selecting the hash value m is equal to h of n and random integer k. We will use this value into our algemal scheme. Let me explain why we are using these values. So after selecting this value, we will compute temporary key S1. Get it? We will using two keys S1 and S2 for the signature. We are writing signature S1 oblique S2. So first our key is S1. So how we are calculating the key S1? S1 is equal to a power of k module by q, a raised to k. A we have already discussed. A is a let's see here. Yes, a is a primitive root of q, and q is a prime number. So here you have a value of k. You have to calculate the a raised to k. Here we have choose the value of k. Get it? So you will get the value of a raised to k, and you have to module it by the q. Q we have select as a prime number. Get it? So finally you will get the entire value of a raised to k modulo by q. So whatever the answers you are receiving here by calculating this equation, a raised to k module by q, that particular answer, whatever the values you are getting in answer, you have to use that value as a key S1. Now inverse of k minus 1 is the inverse of k. We have to calculate k minus 1 module by q minus 1. Inverse of k module q minus 1. You have a value of k. So definitely you will be able to find the inverse of k minus 1, and Another thing, by choosing the k inverse, you have to module it by the q minus 1. We have a value of q. Q is a prime numbers, and we will subtract a minus 1 from the chosen prime number. And another thing, why we are calculating k inverse? Because whenever we are generating our second key S2, so to calculate the second key, here we are using the k inverse. That's why here we are going to find the k inverse. Get it? So for the key S2, there is a equation of k inverse into m minus xa into S1 modulo q minus 1. Again, m is a hash value we are getting from here. Get it? Now minus xa. So let's see what is xa. So xa is our private key. Get it? So xa we are calculating less than xa is between the 1 and q minus 1. So from there you will get xa. We have already calculated S1. So what you have to do, first you have to multiply xa into S1, and whatever the answers you are getting, you have to subtract it from the m, and finally your answer you have to multiply with the k inverse. By multiplying your answer with the k inverse, whatever value you are getting out of this entire equations, you have to module it by q minus 1. It means q we have chosen as a prime number, and you have to take modulo by q minus 1. So whatever the value of S2 you are getting, so you have to generate the signature S1 oblique S2. It means whenever Bhavik is signing a signature, so Bhavik is signing a signature like signature is S1 oblique S2. Bhavik is signing a signature S1 oblique S2. Get it? Now that is the entire procedure at a sending side. Now let's see what's going into the receiver's end. So here Dhruvi is a receiver party, and whenever Dhruvi will receive a message, so Dhruvi will verify the signature. So for verification purpose, Dhruvi will use the V1 and V2. Get it? So let's see what is the equation of V1. V1 is a raised to m modulo by q. A raised to m. We have already discussed how to calculate a raised to m. Sorry, it is a raised to k. Here there is a raised to m. A we have taken the a is a primitive root of q. Get it? So from that you can receive the value of a, and you have to take the power of m. M is a hash value from the hash function, and you have to modulate by the q. Q is a primitive number. Now another verification key, that is V2. So whatever the key is here, S1 and S2, these are the private key. These are the private key. And whatever the key we are discussing, V1 and V2, these are the public key. These are the public key. Get it? Now second key V2 is a YA raised to S1. YA is a public key, we have already choose here. Get it? Raised to S1. S1 is our key which was made public for the receiver. S1 is S1 and S2 is a private key for the Bhavik, but S1 S2 is a public key for the Dhruvi. So whatever the private key sender is generating, sender is making that particular private key is a public for the receiver. Get it? So that is the basic fundamental of encryption and decryptions. You have already learned during the encryption and decryption topic. Get it? So we are not going to more deep inside the encryption decryption. Now YA raised to S1 into S1 raised to S2 modulo by Q. YA is a public key raised to S1. S1 we have already taken, S1 raised to S2 and modulo by Q. So first you have to make the multiplication of this equation, whatever you are getting after making the y raised to s1, and another value you will get by making s1 raised to s2. So both the value you have to multiply, and again you have to module it by the q. So you will get v1 and v2, two keys. So receiver will compare the value of v1 and v2. So value of v1 and v2 remain same. So then receiver, we can say that signature is valid. If value of v1 and v2 are different, then signature is not valid. So that is the basic fundamentals how LGML scheme is working. Get it? Now let take the one example of LGML scheme, so you can understand better entire scheme. So first select the global element as per we have discussed q and a. Q is a prime number. We are taking the prime number 19. 19 is a prime value. So we are selecting this prime number as our global element. Another thing, a is equal to 10. Why we choose the value 10? So we have taken the primitive root of q. Q is a 19. So here we are taking the primitive root of 19. Primitive root of 19. So we are getting the value a is equal to 10. So that is our first step at a sending side. It means whenever Bhavik is sending a message. Second thing, private key and the public key. Get it? Private key is a XA. XA is equal to 16. So how this 16 is going to be chosen? So 16 is a 1 less than equal to XA less than equal to q minus 1. Value of q is equal to 19. 19 minus 1. So it will become 80. So it will be in between the 1 less than XA less than 18. Get it? So sender have to choose the value of private key in between the 1 and 18. Why? Because he already chose the q is equal to 19. Now second thing, sender will make one public key for the receiver. So how sender will calculate the public key? So there is 10 raised to 16 module by 19. Why we have taken 10 raised to 16? Because equation for the public key is equal to a raised to xa. A is a primitive root of q, and we calculated primitive root of q. It means primitive root of 19 is equal to 10. So here I am writing the direct answers, but whenever you are calculating the algorithm, so you have to use the scientific calculator. And if you are not using the scientific calculator, so you can calculate it simply also, but you have to choose the particular perfect method of mathematics. Whenever we are calculating, whenever you are doing the modulo, you are taking the calculating 10 raised to 16. Get it? So whenever you are taking the primitive root of 19, so you can perform it with the scientific calculator also, or you can perform without use of scientific calculator. But whenever you will go with the without use of scientific calculator, so you will take 2 to 5 minutes for the calculation. Now a raised to xa. Xa is our public key, that is 16, and value of a is equal to 19. So it is 19 raised to 16. So whatever the answer of 19 raised to 16 you are getting, you have to module it with the q. Here there is a 10. A is equal to 10. Whatever the answers you are getting 10 raised to 16, so that answer you have to module it by the q. Q is a 19. And finally you will get the answer 10 raised to 16 modulo by 19 is equal to 4. So private key is 16 and public key is 4. So we will use this value. Let me make a square box. These are the useful values at a sending side. Get it? 16 and 4. Another thing, m is equal to 14. So m is a hash functions like we have discussed here. How to find out the m? So equation of finding the hash function is 0 less than equal to m less than equal to q minus 1. So here we are choosing the value of m is equal to 14. Q minus 1 here, that is 18. So here we have to choose the value of m in between 0 to 18. So we can choose any value in between 0 to 18. So here we are taking value of m is equal to 14, and we are taking the value of k is equal to 5. Again, we cannot choose any value of k. We have to follow the conditions. Like first condition, k is in between the 1 and q minus 1. Q is a 19. So again it is 18. So we have to take the value of k in between 1 to 18. And another condition, that is the GCD of k into q minus 1 require 1. So suppose we are choosing k is equal to 5. So GCD of 5 and 18 will require 1. Yes, here we are getting the answer of GCD of 5 and 18 is equal to 1. So we can choose the 5 as a k. Now step number 4. So that thing we have to calculate S1, k inverse and S2. K inverse we are finding for calculating the S2. Our actual motto is to calculate the S1 and S2. So whatever the value here we have chosen or calculated till this moment, so we have chosen everything for the step number 4 by finding the value of S1 and S2. Get it? Let's see how we are calculating S1. S1 here we are getting value of S1 is equal to 3. So equation for S1 is equal to a raised to k modulo by q. A raised to k, value of a is equal to 10. 10 raised to k, value of k is equal to 5. So 10 raised to 5. Whatever the answers we will get by calculating 10 raised to 5, we will module it by the q. Q is equal to 19. So we will receive value of S1 is equal to 3. Now we will find the k inverse. We will find k inverse by by taking the module q minus 1. K inverse module q minus 1. Value of k is equal to 5. Inverse of 5 is equal to whatever we are getting, we will make a module by 18. Get it? So finally we will get the k minus 1 as 11 by solving this equation. Now we have to find the value of S2. So for finding the value of S2, there is a equation k minus 1 into m minus xa dot s1. So first we will calculate xa dot s1. Xa is our private key, that is 16. Sa we got the 3, so 16 into 3. Whatever the answer we will get 16 into 3, we will subtract it from the 14. 14 is our hash value m. So whatever the answer we will get by solving this equation, 14 minus 16 into 3. So we will multiply it with the k inverse. K inverse is 11. So finally we will solve out this entire equation, and whatever the value we will get, so we will module it by q minus 1. Q is 19. 19 minus 1 is 18. So finally we will get the answer is 4. Get it? So all these equations you can use the scientific calculator by solving the equation. Now what sender will send? Sender will send S1, S2. S1 is 3 and 4. So here Bhavik will send 3 and 4 as a key, S1, S2. And after receiving the message at destination side, what receiver, I mean Dhruvi, will do? Dhruvi will use the equation of V1 and V2. So equation of V1 is equal to a raised to m module q, and the value of a is equal to 10. So 10 modulo by m. M is a 14 hash value. So 10 modulo by 14. Whatever the answers you are receiving by calculating 10 raised to 14, you have to module it by q. Q is a 19. So 16 will be the answer of this equation. Now calculating V2. Equation for V2 is equal to ya raised to s1, that is s1. Ya means public key. Public key is 4. Get it? So 4 into SA, S1 is 3. So 4 into 3, 4 raised to 3 into 3 raised to 4. 3 is S1 and 4 is S2. It means S1 raised to S2. So you have to multiply 4 raised to 3 and 3 raised to 4. So you will get 5184. 5184 modulo by Q. Q is a 19. Get it? So finally the value of after solving the equations will receive 16. So second step, compare V1 and V2. V1 is equal to V2 or not? V1 is equal to 16 and V2 is equal to 16. Yes, definitely both are same. So receiver, I mean Dhruvi can say that this signature is valid. Get it? Suppose value are different, then signature will not be valid. So that is the fundamentals how LKML scheme is working. Hope you are understanding very well. If you have any query or doubts, you can make me comment on comment box. In our next session, we will discuss Schnorr algorithm. Thanks for connecting with the video series. Thank you very much.